The Jujutsu Society has been established for over 1,000 years, and the power was split between three big families: the Gojo family, the Kamo family, and the Zenin family. For over 1,000 years, this was the way things were. I mean, for the past 1,000 years, it seems like peace had finally been attained. The three families may have some disagreements, sure, but for the most part, everyone is okay, and they even have Satoru Gojo on their side, who is the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer. So of course, nothing would change, right? I mean, a system that's been in place for over 1,000 years should hold. But what if I told you that in just one day, Maki changed everything the Jujutsu Society ever knew forever, and that the damage she caused would prove irreplaceable? First, I want to say if you enjoy JJK content, that I would really appreciate if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel, as I post videos every couple days on different topics that you guys give me and a few of my own. As a child, Maki had always been an outcast because the Zenin family only values you if you can use their curse techniques. The fanbook says that is the Zenin family. Therefore, the strength of this family lies in their multiple inherited techniques, such as the projection sorcery and the 10 shadows technique. On the other hand, those who do not inherit the techniques are treated as an outcast, even if they are blood relatives. And this is what has happened to Maki her entire life. She was sort of told to be forced to take this position of just being a woman around the family, not being out there and being active in fights, which Maki always rebelled. We even got in volume 0 where she said she wanted to crush the Zenin family. And with these requirements from the Zenin family, it is no shock that of course she was treated as an outcast. And now that that's covered, let's get into what happened on that day. Maki goes to the Zenin hideout to go gather their cursed tools, but what's awaiting for her is her father and Mai, who was on the ground looking beat up. Ogi says that he expected Maki to be there, and so the two have to begin to fight. Maki starts off the fight pretty well by cutting Ogi's sword in half, but he just fakes her out, puts some curse technique in the tip of the sword, and cuts Maki anyways, and wins the fight very quickly, and Maki falls to the ground. Ogi repeatedly calls Mai and Maki worthless, and he drags them down to the Zenin training place. He says, "We keep countless cursed spirits of grade 2 and lower here. For now they are keeping back for their fear of me, but soon they will emerge to eat you both. Heavenly restriction, physically gifted. What of those things? In order to fight, we sorcerers train every day and further reinforce our flesh with cursed energy. Maki, your strength is nothing special compared to others. Farewell, you are a stain on my life." Her own father has just basically left her for dead. She has nobody that really loves her, and even her mother said that she regrets giving birth to her. Maki is completely on her own in this moment. Mai looks down at Maki and says, "As usual, you're tough. I suspected that this would happen someday." And they sort of get transferred to this other realm. It's sort of hard to tell. It looks like it's just in their minds, but they're on some beach. And Mai says, "You probably already understand my curse technique. I can't make anything big or complicated. I'm badly injured from his cuts. Once I make this, I'll die. Goodbye, good luck on your own." And Mai begins to walk off into the water. Confused about what's going on, Maki says, "Hey Mai, wait. What are you talking about? Just come back here." To which Mai says, "I've known for a long time why twins are inauspicious for sorcerers. To gain something, you must offer something. And I'm not just talking about a binding vow. In the same way, suffering makes us stronger. For us twins, that rule doesn't always apply. After all, curse techniques treat identical twins as one individual. Do you get it? You are me and I am you. Even if you work insanely hard because you want to get strong, there's no point, because I don't want to get stronger. And if you don't have a curse technique but I do, then there's no point. As long as I'm around, you, Maki, will never fully develop." Maki says, "Okay, I get it, now come back." And Mai says, "I'll leave only this. Throw the rest away. I'll take the cursed energy and everything with me, but promise me one thing. Destroy everything, big sister." And Mai dies and lays on the ground. But what's now here is a sword that Mai created before she died. We see all of the cursed spirits emerge around Maki and Mai lying on the ground. But then we see Ogi turn around. He senses something. All the cursed spirits in the room have died, but how? And Ogi says, "My body remembers, but I tried so hard to forget this fear." And we get this cool panel where Maki is basically in the same position as Toji and is being compared to him. Ogi is basically saying he is now afraid of Maki. His daughter, who he called a waste and a disgrace, and now has him scared. He releases his curse technique, Blazing Courage, and says, "Very well, with my own hands I will burn you to the bone. So let us fight, my worthless child." And their fight is almost even disgraceful to call it a fight. Maki blitzes him so badly that he's still standing in the same place as the top of his head gets cut off. And Maki says, "Mai, let's get started." Maki has just undergone some change. Her body is now like Toji's, which is why Ogi recognizes her as such. And now Maki says it's time to get started with the rest of the clan. Ranta from the Hei says, "Master Jinchi, Maki has gone mad. She cut down Master Oki. The Kukuru unit has gone to confront her." He says, "Ogi, if she attacked Master Ogi while he was asleep or unaware on the toilet, she might beat him. Even Maki is capable of that." And Naoya says she killed him. They believe Maki is so weak that the only way she could have killed Ogi was if he was asleep or just off guard on the toilet. Either way, the Kukuru unit goes to go fight Maki, but the captain of the unit says, "Don't kill her, I'll finish her off." And here we learn what the Kukuru unit is. Zenin males who do not possess curse techniques are required to join. It's a lower branch of the Hei. It's members who undergo grueling training martial arts day and night. Maki was a member until she entered Jujutsu High. The Kukuru unit comes across Maki and says there she is in the room. Visual confirmation of two unidentified cursed tools surround her. And we have this panel where the entire unit is around Maki. And here we see, "What are you going to do? What did I want to do? Why didn't you fall down the hole with me? I bet that's the right answer for us. I'm sorry, Mai, but promise me, destroy everything." The Kukuru unit goes to attack, and Maki just cuts the first guy's arms completely off. She then continues to basically blitz and destroy the rest of the Kukuru unit with no problem. It's like they seem like complete fodder to Maki. The head of the unit expects to walk in and just see her captured, so he just says all coolly, "Hey, how'd it go?" To which he just sees Maki standing in the middle of all of them, and he says, "Oh my." Tojiro activates his curse technique, which are the big hands, and he tries to capture Maki. And he says the Hei are here. And here we learn who the Hei are. A group composed of people who have been recognized as possessing skills of semi-grade 1 or higher, according to the criteria of Jujutsu High. They are the strongest sorcerers in the Zenin clan. So now that Maki has basically wiped out Ogi, and she has wiped out the Kukuru unit, all that's left for her to wipe out in the Zenin clan are the strongest in the clan, the Hei. Two members of the Hei try to attack Maki, but she just takes them both out extremely quickly. And they even say, "She's fast, is she really the same Maki?" Ranta says Master Jinchi, to which he replies, "Hold her still, Ranta." And Ranta says, "I can't hold her back." Ranta says, "Don't mind me, Master Jinchi. The current Zenin clan exists because of Master Toji's whim. You must have noticed Maki has become the same as him. Right here, right now. Kill her." To which Jinchi basically summons these big fists to try to, pound Maki into the ground. And Ranta says, "You did it, Master Jinchi." He thinks that Jinchi was successful, but Maki just comes walking out of the dust with Jinchi's head. And Naoya doesn't even really show a reaction. Upon seeing Maki, he says, "How cruel. Don't you have a human heart?" To which Maki says, "No. She took it with her." Maki, who was so weak that they thought she could only beat Ogi if he was on the toilet. The Maki who was an outcast. The Maki who was just supposed to do chores around the place. This Maki has now defeated the Hei. Maki has just defeated the strongest sorcerers in the Zenin clan. She defeated the Kukuru unit. She defeated her father. The only person left is Naoya, who is the head of the Hei. He is basically the head of the strongest sorcerers in the Zenin family. We cut to this panel where Maki and Naoya are fighting. We see a bunch of fists fly out from Naoya, and he says, "You are not Toji." He catches Maki with his projection sorcery. Because the way projection sorcery works is that upon touching an opponent, they have to follow this predetermined set of 24 frames. And if they fail in doing so, they will freeze for 1 full second. He caught Maki with this technique and buzzed through the frame that was there, effectively punching her through the stomach, and there's nothing she can do. He continues to beat Maki around and says, You are not Toji. The sin of the insignificant is ignorance of strength. No one understood Toji except possibly for Satoru. We see this panel where Maki gets up from the ground, but Naoya is dashing towards her and says, "It's not you." He grabs Maki by her leg and slams her into the ground again. He says, "The one who stands with them is me." Maki even says this is bad. Projection sorcery does not allow movement in ways that egregiously ignore the laws of physics and trajectories. Furthermore, there is an upper limit to the body's acceleration at the time of activating the curse technique. However, maintaining the curse technique allows speed to continuously build. I won't stop, I won't make the same mistake as before. What Naoya is basically saying is that back when he fought Choso, he made a mistake by stopping this buildup of speed that he had against Choso. Strength is weight and speed. I'll punch through her at top speed. And then we see where Maki basically holds out her arms. In exchange for Mai's life, Maki had gained a body of steel that had broken away from cursed energy, but she suffered injuries and lost blood fighting Ogi, and then fought against the Hei. So she knew she was at a disadvantage in a protracted fight against Naoya, who had already surpassed subsonic speed. Naoya says to himself, "A head-on collision, huh?" To which Maki says, "Let me embrace you." But instead of going directly towards her, Naoya slaps her arm and begins to go around her. And here we learn when the palm of a combatant activating projection sorcery touches an opponent, that opponent must also move at 24 frames per second. Failure means 1 second of freezing. Failure means 1 second. Meanwhile, Naoya is still moving at top speed. Naoya says to himself, "You are planning to receive the brunt of my attack and stop me from moving even if it broke your ribs. But I won't fall for such an obvious bait. You really are an imposter." But as he gets up close on Maki, we see her just turn around and her fist is right to Naoya's face. Maki says 24 times right. "You and Naobito aren't just fast, something felt strange. You make 24 movements per second. With this body, I can finally see that." And she just one punches him straight to the ground. She says, "Sorry, say that again, would you?" She literally just defeated Naoya in one punch. After this, as Naoya is crawling away, we see Maki's mother stabs him in the back and finishes him off. Maki goes back to grab Mai's body, and as she's walking with it, they come across Momo. Momo says Mai, and then Maki just gives her a sad look. And then she says, "That's why I told you not to go." Maki drops Mai off with Momo and says she's in your hands now. And Momo says, "What are you going to do now, Maki?" Maki doesn't say anything, but here we learn what she did afterwards. Members of the Zenin clan who were absent that day would soon die violent deaths. 6 members of the Hei, 9 members of the Akashi, and 21 members of the Kukuru unit. No residuals were found where they died, but trace amounts of cursed energy thought to have originated from a cursed tool weapon were detected in the body's wounds. Days later, the Gojo clan and Kamo clan proposed removing the Zenin clan from the big 3 families, but Jujutsu headquarters is keeping their verdict on hold. We learned that Maki basically went and annihilated every remaining member of the Zenin family. Not only did she kill everybody who was there, but everybody else who was absent as well. You heard me right, the entire Zenin family is dead, and all at the hands of one person, Maki. A clan that existed for over 1,000 years and prided themselves on strength through curse techniques lost to someone with no curse energy. A mold that had been set for over 1,000 years has now been broken. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, I would appreciate if you could leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as I post videos every couple days on different topics that you guys give me and a few that I come up with on my own. Thank you for watching. See you next time.